the Capital Region's #1 late news, News Channel 13, live at 11.
Tonight's top story, A Time to Heal. In a Washington landmark, they remember the victims of the attack while they planned the response.
This is News Channel 13, live at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ed Dague. Lydia has the night off tonight. Government officials trying to lift the nation's mood, and with good reason. The diplomatic news, the news from the Trade Center, from the Pentagon, the news about our economy, all of it fairly discouraging tonight. But after 11 days since the attack, the government, with the help of entertainers and athletes, trying to bring about a little bit of encouragement tonight. There's also, though, some news from Russia, where the foreign minister, Igor Ivanovich, now says he may not cooperate with the United States for fear of destabilizing Central Asia. Let's go to Washington for the very latest. Jim Hanchett is at the Pentagon tonight. Here's Jim's report.
Good evening. Here at the Pentagon tonight, work goes on, planning for a war on the other side of the building, investigating the attack on this side of the building. And there are signs around the country tonight that life goes on. There's music on TV tonight, and it's not those gloomy tunes the newscasts have been using. On a telethon for attack victims, the diversion is as important as the cause. In New York, the mayor goes to the ballpark to watch a baseball game, and there's a weekend of football ahead. Even the Secretary of State says it's time for Americans to live a little.
We need people to go back out to stores. We need people to go to movies and theaters. We need to restore a sense of normalcy in our life.
At the World Trade Center, though, Attorney General Ashcroft says there have been unverified threats of trouble over the weekend. The rapid military buildup continues, and it's not just the frontline troops on the move. Air support crews from New River, North Carolina, military police from Seattle, all are getting ready to go. Afghanistan is one step closer to being the target. Leaders of the Taliban reject President Bush's demand they turn over Osama bin Laden. They say they want more proof he's guilty. U.S. officials tell NBC News intelligence reports indicate bin Laden is trying to leave the country. Back in Washington, the Senate approves a $15 billion bailout bill for the airline. And President Bush heads to Camp David. This weekend, he'll help Marines raise the flag to full staff. One more signal that it's okay now for Americans to exhale. But sadly, there's also a far less optimistic transition to report tonight. Here at the Pentagon, rescue workers have been told they can go home. Their work is done. This is now officially a crime scene controlled by the FBI. We're live at the Pentagon. I'm Jim Hanchett. Back to you.
Thank you, Jim. And part of America fighting back is in the tighter security at our airports. Karen Lehane is at the Albany International Airport with word of what is no longer allowed in carry-on luggage. Also look at what airport officials have seen so far. Karen.
Hi, Ed. Well, lots of changes at the airport. We already know that there is no curbside check-in and no parking curbside. But some of the things that you would have found just 2 weeks ago in a purse or a carry-on bag are now considered potential weapons and are confiscated. Here's a look at some of the things that the Albany County Sheriff's deputies have taken from passengers so far. Simple things, heretofore harmless things like hair picks, metal and plastic ones, sewing needles, double-edged razors, and safety pins. Airport Authority CEO John Egan calls this an entirely different era in transportation, for plane travel in particular.
It's something that's, I think, going to be with us for the foreseeable future. There's still, I hate to say this, there still are some bad people out there. The vermin are amongst us somewhere in this world. And until that's under control, we're going to have to take these precautions.
Now, this exposed short-term parking lot closest to the terminal will soon have a new big wall built here for security that will protect the terminal from anything that may happen in this parking lot. That change will come in about a month. Ed?
Karen Lehane at the Albany International Airport tonight. Thank you, Karen. Hundreds of youngsters sent some special messages home tonight. Karen Moe is going to tell us all about a local memorial. But first, Bob Kovachick joins us from the Weather Center with the first look at our forecast. Robert.
All right, Ed. Good evening, everyone. Let's take a look at how Saturday will shape up. We'll have some clouds, fog, maybe a scattered shower or two early. It won't last too long. Then I think kind of similar to today, we'll have some sunshine breaking through late morning into the afternoon. Temperatures are still relatively mild up to about 70 lunchtime, and some partial sun mixed with clouds, mid-70s in the afternoon. A relatively decent Saturday ahead. We'll have more on the forecast for Sunday and beyond in a few minutes. Ed.
Thanks, Bob. Another Rensselaer police officer has been brought up on departmental charges. Chief Frederick Fusco tells us that David Van Warmer has been suspended for 30 days without pay. The chief will only say that this stems from 2 incidents pertaining to the ongoing internal investigation of the police department. Van Warmer has been with that department for 16 years. He says the charges are in retaliation for his being outspoken against the chief. This evening, hundreds of people gathered at Troy's Riverfront Park to honor victims of last week's terrorist attack on America. Karen Moe was there as well. She's back in the newsroom now, though, to tell us all about it. Karen.
And many local officials, clergy, and other dignitaries gathered at tonight's ceremony. But of the hundreds of people in attendance, the most important were the children. Candles are lit, prayers are said.
God bless you all, and God bless America.
And colorful items are thrown into the Hudson River. Area children show support for New York City rescue workers by tossing 120 little containers into the water. Inside each one, a message to their heroes.
Dear firefighters and police officers, we are with you. Thank you for being our heroes, and thank you for being helpful.
I really feel bad about the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and other tragedies. I hope you'll feel better about this.
Where there is light, there is hope. The sun didn't stop shining, so keep hoping. Never give up hope.
If there's a common theme that runs through a lot of these letters, it's why. Why would somebody do this? Why did this happen? How do you answer that question?
I can't imagine what children are thinking and how it's going to affect their lives. They're going to know a life completely different than what we've known.
I think this gives the children the opportunity to feel as though they're a part of putting things back together.
There you go!
The letters were written by students in Rensselaer County, but some of the kids participating in the Voyage of Hope don't go to school in that county and didn't write a letter. So instead, they told us what they would have written.
Pray for all the people that die in New York and make sure that it never happens again. I would feel bad for the people who died.
I hope that they wouldn't crash, like they wouldn't hijack any more planes, because that's real sad for all the people that died.
The thousands of letters will be sent to Mayor Giuliani next week. Copies of 120 of those letters were stuffed into the containers. Their date of arrival hasn't been estimated. Ed?
Well, I bet it's after the post office letters.
Probably.
Karen Moe in the newsroom. Thank you. Local firehouse celebrating its 75th anniversary next month. To mark the anniversary, the Fuller Road Firehouse hosting the 25th Annual Volunteer Firemen's Convention. The convention kicked off tonight with a Mardi Gras parade. There will be a full dress parade tomorrow evening. Some area college students are running in circles tonight. Students at RPI taking part in a 24-hour flag-carrying fundraiser. They will keep going until 10 tomorrow morning to raise money for victims of last week's terrorist attacks. The Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity spearheaded this fundraiser. Some other people are also stretching their legs tonight. The 3rd annual Light the Night walk by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society kicked off in Albany this evening. The walk raises money for cancer research and programs. Cancer survivors carried illuminated white balloons tonight. Other walkers carried red balloons. There were also banners carrying names of those who died of cancer. Many of the walkers also made a point to wear red, white, and blue clothing in light of the recent events. Some local tourist officials worried tonight that they won't see much of a tourist season this year. Recent events also causing problems further to the south. At 11:14, we'll tell you about some cutbacks at Walt Disney World. In sports, baseball returned to New York today for the first time since September 11th. Roger will have highlights of the Mets return to Shea Stadium. It was, as you can imagine, an emotional night.
Live, local, late breaking with Ed Dague and Lydia Kulbida. This is News Channel 13, live at 11. News Channel 13 is sponsored by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Welcome back to news that former Rensselaer County Executive Henry Zwack was cleared of 7 perjury charges today. Zwack had been accused of giving false sworn testimony in connection with the no-show job scandal. Several jurors told News Channel 13 that simply too many witnesses said too many different things during the trial to convince the jurors. Zwack still faces 2 other criminal indictments. Those involve allegations of bribery. In another local court action today, 17-year-old Marty Humphrey sentenced to 50 years to life for the crime committed last November. Humphrey claims he did not actually kill his Aunt Nozai, but admits he did take part in the robbery of the pizza delivery man. In August, Humphrey was found guilty of intentional murder as well as 20 other crimes. The other teens were also found guilty in connection with that murder. People who cater to tourists in the Berkshires anxiously watching world events, hoping that tourists will still come to their area to see the fall foliage. The season is just kicking off as Americans are on the brink of war. Folks in the tourism industry hope tourists will seek refuge in the Berkshires. One man from the New York City area says that is exactly why he is visiting.
There's a serenity to the area. There is a self-examination that's promoted by this type of environment.
The Red Lion Inn in Stockbridge, though, has already had more than 200 cancellations, all since last week's attacks. Walt Disney World is also feeling the squeeze of the financial fallout from the attack. Since last Tuesday, attendance has dropped dramatically. Park hours have now been cut, and 15,000 of Disney's part-time workers have been told not to report to work until further notice. A hiring freeze is also in place. Disney World is Central Florida's largest employer. Baseball returned to New York today for the first time since last week's attack. Roger will tell us all about that coming up in sports. First, though, we will hear from the Yankee fans about the weather.
All right, Ed, a little weather picture for the weekend. We may start out with a bit of wet weather for Saturday morning, but much of the rest of the weekend looking pretty decent. We'll take a look at that in just a few minutes.
Welcome back to some of the lines at today's T-shirt sale at the Huck Finn Warehouse to raise money for the Red Cross. In all, people donated more than $31,000. One woman donated her entire $300 tax rebate check. A similar shirt sale last week raised more than $30,000. We sold out again today. And the way the weather's headed, probably next time we'll have to do a parka.
You think it's starting to get cool, except in the studio.
Oh, what is this?
I don't know. Blow, air conditioner, blow. Well, all right, well, I guess people get sense, too. We're hot. All right, 68 degrees, cloudy skies, 700th of an inch of rain since midnight, and the total for the entire rain event yesterday and today, about 0.6 of an inch. Pretty warm when the sun came out, 78 the afternoon high, 64 the morning low, record high 95, and a record low of 29 degrees. South breeze at 9, humidity high 84%. Some patchy areas of fog will be developing, and the barometer currently steady to 9.97. Showers now moving back into parts of New York State from the Adirondacks westbound of Watertown. Showers also going on from Rochester to Buffalo. Thunderstorms in north-central Pennsylvania around Bradford. And we do see showers and storms rotating eastward, kind of another weather disturbance following on the heels of one we had last night. And I think we're probably going to be in for a round of a few showers tomorrow morning. Well, it shouldn't last too long. You can see the showers now in the Adirondacks, back through parts of the Mohawk Valley, Finger Lakes, western New York, even some storms firing up in north-central Pennsylvania. So, again, these showers should be moving through our area between roughly, well, let's say 4 to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's probably the wettest time of the weekend. It's early Saturday. The rest of the weekend is looking dry with temperatures rebounding back into the 70s both days. Across the country, again, we had last night's rainmaker now pulling off east of New England. You can kind of see this secondary disturbance moved out of Michigan today, spinning on to the east, and that will trigger some of the showers that we expect in our area during the early part of Saturday. Another system will drop in behind that, but that probably will not come until along about Monday or Monday night. Much of the rest of the country fairly quiet, some showers and storms around the western Gulf states and also up through the plain states. A little bit of rain in the northern Rockies, but generally not a bad weather picture, and actually temperatures across much of the country are running normal to above for this time of the year, so I don't see any significant chill down here. But again, it's a system passes through. We'll get some showers tomorrow morning, and then lots of sunshine, especially Sunday. I think Sunday is the better of the 2 days coming up for the weekend. Back, first warning forecast in a moment.